Thoroughbreds are go. Where are they now? Proudly brought to you by Mystery Downs, breeding and racing. Tara, obviously we've featured you before with your beloved Pie, who's your staple sort of thoroughbred off the track. But you have a new one, New Mandate, or Dan as he's called. Tell us about like the initial stages of working with a young horse.
Well, it's very different to working with Pie, I can tell you that, because Pie is a horse that we've had for 10 years and he is now 18 going on 19. So he's a horse that you know intimately well. There's nothing that I don't know about Pie and he doesn't know about me. But the reality is he is getting older and I'm getting older. And if you want to keep riding and being able to go to competitions and take a horse out into the bush on your own, you need to have another horse coming along behind, because I think that is probably what stops a lot of people riding as they get older, in that they outgrow their previous horse and they get to a point where they're not strong enough and confident enough to bring on another horse. So I thought I need to get cracking on this plan while Pie is still going well and get something else. So I talked to Jasmine about it, my daughter that works for Chris Waller, and she said, "Oh, we've got the perfect horse here for you, Mum. He's very quiet, he's got a great personality, everyone in the barn loves him." And his owner is a Hong Kong-based owner, Mark Chan, who owns horses all around the world. Actually, his colours are very familiar, carried by St Gothard at the moment, actually, one of the Boom colts. But when he came to the end of his racing career, Mark Chan just said, find this horse a really good home. Like, he could have gone on English Digital, he could have gone to another home, he could have raced in various places, but they were quite adamant that the horse had done enough. He'd achieved everything he could achieve and they really wanted him to find a good home. So that's where I came into the story.
New Mandate hits the lead and he's pulling clear. New Mandate, a nice horse. He wins the Hawkesbury Cup by 2.
I've had him for about 18 months now, I suppose. And as Jasmine said, he is quiet, he has got a beautiful temperament, but at the same time, he was a horse that was not a happy horse at the finish of his racing career. He had a few little issues which had made him become quite a difficult ride. But his basic instincts were very, very good. And like I said, temperament is key to these things. So I thought, I'll give him a go. Anyway, and here we are 18 months later, and he's here at Stonewall at his first major show. And while he's still very green in the ring as far as riding him, his manners outside the ring are absolutely perfect. He's just a beautiful horse.
New Mandate is holding on and the much improved New Mandate goes on to win the Royal Lodge.
The segment is called Where Are They Now? So this horse, to the people that knew him and loved him, his owner and everyone that worked with him in the early days in particular, he was a very good 2-year-old in the UK, and also obviously a multiple group winner, and also then won a Hawkesbury Cup out here. So he'd so well travelled too. That must help him.
He's a horse who did a lot very early in his life. He was born in Ireland. He went to the yearling sales in France as a yearling. He was bought there, then he came back to England. He was trained by Rafe Beckett, and he showed a lot of ability, but he was very unruly, and they had to geld him early before he even started racing. And then he won a couple of back season races in a row with Frankie Dettori. So they thought, given that he's a gelding, he can't run in the classics at 3, we'll send him off to America and run him in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, which proved unsuccessful at the time. And then eventually they decided we'll send him out to Australia, which is when he came to Chris Waller. Continued on there, won another couple of group races. So he's a very accomplished horse who had like 5 countries stamped on his passport before he was a 4-year-old, which is quite remarkable. Like, he's done more travelling than most people.
These shows are so important, aren't they, for people taking on thoroughbreds off the track to get some prize money, because they cost so much. At least this puts a little bit back into everyone's pockets, you know, if you can build up to a level of being successful.
We all want to give these horses a good home, but it's expensive. If you commit to a horse and you're going to keep it looking good and keep it at a level to which it's used to, it's not a cheap exercise. And it is nice to come here and compete for a bit of prize money, but you know, it's not all about the ribbon and the prize money. You know, if you take these horses on, there's different things that they can do. And this particular horse, like, I don't know that Dan the Man is ever going to be as good a jumper as Pie. But I tell you what, when I take him out in the bush at home and I go up, because our property backs onto National Park, and when you ride that horse up into the mountains, I never have a worry that he hasn't got my back and that I'm going to come back in one piece. He's just lovely and he thoroughly enjoys his new life.
Madgwick, New Mandate.